glorify you, Jesus. Magnify you, Lord. You're worthy of the glory, Lord.
On last week, we concluded with the fact that Jehovah Sabaoth and Jehovah Ra'ah, or Jehovah Rohi, combines to perform a surgery on us that we can't see. And if you'd be honest, you know you've been through one of those this week. Because Lord knows I have. In dealing with this surgery that we've encountered this past week, like I said, it prepared us for some good that we don't yet know about. And that's the whole understanding of as we're dealing with this time and dealing with these moments, the preparation that he had to give us. If he had let us know that he was going to have to give us that kind of preparation, we wouldn't have stayed still for the preparation. You would not have, if he had let you know in exact detail what you was going to be dealing with this past week. I'm talking about just this past week. If he had let you know every single detail beforehand, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months before, when you got to this moment, and then this week, you'd have been dodging it. You'd have been going away. You'd have been figuring out some other kind of way to not have to experience what you had to experience just this past week. And that's what's going to walk us into this, one of the most important names that we've covered so far. And that's the name of El-Shaddai, the all-sufficient one, or the God of more than enough. And it's important for us to recognize that, because he's already been taking care of you, even though you haven't known that that's who's been taking care of you. He's already been giving you more than enough, and he's already been giving you a direction and an outpouring of grace that once we get through today, you're really going to see who's been taking care of you. Because all of the names of Jehovah that we've covered, those are positions and places to where he shows up self-existent, eternal, without our help, without our input, without our recognition, without any of those things. El-Shaddai is going to give you a new lot on life.
Yes, thank you.
No matter what you went through this week, no matter what you found out this week, no matter what direction you now know that you're going to have to take, you're about to see a new lot on life like you've never seen it before. And that's not just having anything to do with me expressing it. This has been in this book the whole time. But he's chosen this moment in all of our lives to bring forth this revelation of who he is as El-Shaddai, so that from this day forward, you're going to see the word sufficiency in a whole new look, in a whole new outlook. Because the word sufficient means enough, and definitely write these next two things down. Equal to the end proposed, or adequate to wants. So sufficient, the word sufficient means enough, equal to the end proposed, and adequate to wants. And that's very important, because that's one of the reasons why I end up with, on last week, of letting you know not to let your needs become your wants. He's already let us know he's going to supply all of our needs. And then he says, if you'll delight yourself in the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart. So that's why you don't want to make the mistake of only seeking after your needs, because when you're only seeking after your needs, that's showing that you don't know who your God is, because you're thinking he's a bad daddy. You're thinking that he's not going to take care of your needs. And he said, are you not better than the birds and the fowls of the air? Are you not better than that? They don't reap or sow, but I make sure that they're taken care of. Do you think he's not going to take care of us that way? He's saying, I've given you the ability to be made in my exact image and in my likeness. For you to be able to speak into existence, to call those things that are not as though they were, for you to be able to sow and to be able to reap, for you to be able to follow my standards and get my results. So do you think that I won't take care of your needs? And that's the reality that you have to really begin to look at as to how you've been pursuing God, because it's actually a smack in the face to him when all you're doing is seeking the needs that he's already told you he's going to give you. He's already told you he's going to take care of that. He's already made crystal clear to us that I've got all of these things covered for you. So when you're actually aware of who he is for you, that's when he wants to use you to then bless other people. I will bless thee so that thou will be a blessing. That there's no way for you to be that if everything that you're getting is only for your need. Does that make sense? Because so if you're then only seeking him for your need, you've let your need become your want. That's the only thing you're going to God calling on him for, is what you need. And then if you're going only to call on him for what you need, then when he sends somebody along that he wants you to bless, you can't, because all you've got is what you need.
Help us.
That's all you've got. It's what you need. You don't have enough to help somebody else, because that's all you've been asking for. Lord, just give me. If you'll just take care of. And then he sends somebody along that's in need, and they're worse off than you are, but you don't even have enough to give them anything, because you've been seeking the Most High God that owns all of heaven and earth, and you're his child, but all you've been seeking him for is, Daddy, give me what I need. You've been selfish. And I ain't talking about just you. Yeah, I'm talking about me. Because the whole idea of who he is El-Shaddai. When you see this, I promise you, you're not going to look at life the same. You're not going to look at life the same, because you're going to understand that he has already given us equal to the proposed end that he's called for each one of us to have. He's saying, I've already supplied you with things enough, for if you'll take what I've been supplying you with, you'll be able to reproduce every single thing you need for anybody I send to you. Because I've given you the ability to do things that they don't know. I'm working through you. If you'll let me work through you, I can get to them the things that they need. Then they're going to ask, how is it that you were able to take care of me and it not bother you? How do I do that? And that's what you're wanting them to seek. Go with me to Revelation chapter 4, beginning at verse 1. Because I want to show you two places for you to see something that we've already looked at. I want you to recognize, y'all remember we just not too long ago looked at Jehovah Sabaoth, which is who? The Lord of hosts, the Lord of the masses, the Lord of a large number of group of people. So in Revelation chapter 4, beginning at verse 1, going to read down through verse 11. Says this. Revelation chapter 4, beginning at verse 1 down through verse 11, which, as you see, that's the entire chapter of this one. And you want to highlight it, you want to mark it, you want to make special note, but I'm going to show you something that's extremely important. And once you see it, you're going to understand how important it really is. Beginning at verse 1, it says, "After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened," where? In heaven. "And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a" what? Of a trumpet talking with me. Now what was on Tishri number 1, the 7th month, the first day of the 7th month, was called the Feast of Trumpets. The Feast of Trumpets. So notice, the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, "Come up hither." Come where? Come up hither, and I will show you things which must be hereafter. So he's saying, you're going to have to come up to see what I'm trying to show you. You can't stay down and you can't stay where you're at to be able to see what I'm trying to show you. This is important. He says, "And immediately I was where? In the Spirit. And behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are," what does that say in your Bible? 7 spirits of God. That S should be a capital S in spirits. Verse 6 says, "And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts, full of eyes, before and behind. And the first beast was like a" what? "Of the tribe of Judah." So it just has lion there, so it's showing you one of the beasts is a lion. Jesus is called Lion, the tribe of Judah.